Hello everyone, I'm Manoranjan H, Assistant Professor of Commerce, Government First Aid College, Bagepalli. Today we discuss on strategic human resource management prescribed by Bangalore North University for fifth semester BBA. The topic which we are going to discuss today is various approaches and barriers of strategic human resource management. In the previous class or a video, we discussed on strategic human resource planning model. So we shall discuss today on various approaches and barriers to strategic human resource management. The outcome of the particular session would be you will be able to explain what are the different approaches which are prevailing in an organization with respect to strategic human resource management and what are the hindrances or problems or barriers to strategic human resource management. So let us start. As you can see in this particular slide, these are the various approaches of strategic human resource management in an organization. It starts with the basic traditional approach, followed by strategy implementation approach. Next, we have strategy formulation approach, best practices approach, and the last one is best fit approach. We'll start with the first one, traditional approach. As the name itself says, it is a basic traditional approach which is very old. So it this particular approach has no role in formulation and implementation of business strategy. As the name itself says, traditional, here there is no concept of strategy or business ideas or applications like that. Then there is no new ideas or strategy kind of thing in this particular approach. It is just a basic approach. It assumes that people and jobs are very stable. So in every organization, there are people, employees who are working in an organization and their particular job will be stable. So it is like normal basic approach. So what is the advantages of this particular approach? So it helps in better analysis of specific job. So it explains, no doubt it explains, there is no clear cut or strategy kind of thing in this particular approach. It just helps in better, and you can analyze what is this roles and responsibilities of a particular job in an organization, and also it helps in assess person fit or recruitment and selection of qualified person for a specific job. So you have certain job and you will hire qualified people for that particular job, and you will keep on doing that, and the particular job or the work will be accomplished in a smoother way. So this is about a traditional approach, the basic traditional approach. Next, we have strategy implementation approach. The second important approach is strategy implementation approach, which explains. See here, the word comes strategy implementation. The ideas have come, new ideas, skills, plans have come. So how you will analyze or assign the different HR process in the organization goals has come up. So the strategies will be on par with the goals of an organization. How you will accomplish the goals of an organization through better strategies or plans has come into picture. So HR strategies need to be aligned with the business strategy. We have a business strategy which is set for earlier of the organization, starting of the organization, and how these strategies will be accomplished with on par or linkage with the HR strategies of an organization, so that the overall organizational success will be set or done. So we have a steps, there are various steps in strategy implementation approach. How will you implement the strategy? So it starts with the identification of organization business strategy. You first identify a different organization, business strategy first, followed by reducing or reducing the organizational capabilities needed for implementing strategy. Once this particular business strategy has been identified, then you reduce the organizational capabilities for the particular strategies. Next comes recruitment and selection process that focus on candidates who can work with the organizational goals. You set your strategies, assess your strategies. Next, you recruit and select the best candidate for that particular task or work to be accomplished in an organization. So this is the overall strategy implementation approach. Next, we have strategy formulation approach. So once the strategy has been implemented, next we have formulated approach. How the strategy will be formulated will be discussed in this particular slide. So it has a concept of focus. So once the strategy to be formulated in a better manner, there is a concept of focus comes into picture. So hiring candidate who can add value to an organization, product and services. So you focus on hiring a right candidate for the right job. There is a concept of right candidate for the right job will come into picture here. Then add value. So you hire such a candidate who adds value to the particular organizational capabilities or organizational task. Next, assume that the strategy and staffing are stable and change according to the external environment factors. We have so many external environment factors like political, social, economic, demographic, technological, and so many like that. So to meet these particular situations or factors, so you hire such a candidate who work in all these parameters, so that the strategy formulated will be done in a smoother way. Next comes the best practice approach. As the name itself says, best practice. So human is the main objective of every human resource manager to follow some best practices in an organization. So best practices is like setting best HRM practices and adopting them will lead to superior organizational performance. There are so many best practices which comes into picture in an organization. It could be employment security, selective hiring, self-managed teams or team working, high pay contingent on company performance, extensive training, reduction of status difference, sharing information. So, so these are the important best practices we find in organizations. So this has already been explained in the previous videos as well. So first is employment security, selective hiring. So he has to check proper security, but have been hiring for the particular organization will be secured in a better manner. And only selective hiring, we have various projects in hand, and you have to hire very right candidate for the right job. Only selective hiring should be there. Then self-managed teams, you should allocate particular work to particular teams so that they work on their own. You give the proper training to them so they can work on their own. They don't depend on others like that. So high pay contingent on company performance. If anybody is performing on par with the standards and meeting the expectations and above expectations, you pay well. Then extensive training. So in order to develop their learning and capabilities, you give training facilities to them. Then reduction of status difference. There should not be any gap between higher level, superior, you are superior, I'm inferior like that. There is no boss employee kind of relationship. All are equal here. You create such an environment in an organization which is a best practice. And sharing information, he has to create such a forum where every idea is identified and promoted and participated. So this sharing information is a very good practice in an organization. Then, in essence, recruiting and retaining talented, team-oriented, highly motivated people is seen to lay a basis for superior business performance. So, recruiting right candidate and retaining the talented also very good, best practice in an organization by providing right pay for our compensation or pay for right candidate. The person he has to think that my particular task or work is paid well like that. He has to think like that. So he has to create such an environment in an organization. No doubt there are various criticisms to this best practice approach. First one is disconnection from company's goals and context. Of course, he's creating environment where individual ideas and skill set is been considered, opinion has been sought. There is a disconnection of company goals and context. Then disregard of national differences such as management practices. There is no doubt there are various management practices which somehow cannot be achieved with individual interests. So this can also be considered as a criticism. And the last one, difficulty arises when we go beyond these straightforward practices. Of course, since it is a best practice, always best practices is straightforward practices, which is a criticism in an organization. The last one comes best fit approach. As the name itself says, best fit. There are different strategies which are very fit for the organizational success. believes that there is no universal prescription for HRM practices. Of course, best fit approach believes that there is no universal prescription. Of course, because this is a strategy. Strategy is not a normal thing which is accepted by everyone. It is a unique thing. So it is very unique and very important thing which nobody does it, which will be accomplished, and this will be considered as a best fit approach. Next, it encompasses the fit between HR activities and organizations stage of development, external fit. So it gives or it emphasizes on the linkages between different HR practices and business strategies to be accomplished in a various stage of development of an organization. So no doubt the best fit approach as well has got various criticisms like lack of alignment with employee interests, compliance with prevailing social norms and legal requirements. Here, the best fit is something like various ideas will be considered and with on par with HRM practices in an organization. No doubt, there will be a lack of alignment with employee interests. Employee interests will somehow not managed in a proper manner. So with this, we can conclude the various approaches with pertaining to human resource, strategic human resource management. Now we shall discuss on various barriers to strategic human resource management in an organization. As you can see in this particular slide, we have these many points. First one, short-term mentality. There is no doubt whenever there is a concept of strategy or ideas have come into picture in an organization, there is a short-term mentality. There are certain employees who or any kind of employee will not believe or will not accept the ideas or strategies which is implemented in organization. So definitely we can say this is a particular barrier, short-term mentality, and this will not be last longer. The second one, strategic inability. There are no doubt this is also one of the important barriers where there is an inability of ideas or skills or plans in the organization, which lead to organizational dissatisfaction, organizational barrier like that. So the third thing, third important point is lack of appreciation. No doubt, there are certain strategies which are plans which cannot be accomplished will lead to lack of appreciation in an organization. Some employees will not contribute to strategies like plans for the organizational development. Will definitely think that there is a lack of appreciation from the organization, and which will lead to a barrier or problematic environment in an organization. Next is failure in understanding the role. There are employees who does not understand or who don't understand the various job roles or duties and responsibilities, because these are all set as per the strategies or plans by the organization and human resource managers. It is a failure of an understanding the role of an organization or task. No doubt it is also one of the important barriers. Next is difficulty in qualifying or quantifying outcomes. They don't understand the what would be the outcome of the organization. We have so many strategies or plans to be accomplished by the HR managers and employees as well. So some employees or some environment will be created wherein the difficulty in quantifying, they don't understand the future outcome of the particular strategy, so it will lead to a barrier. And the next one is wrong perception on human assets. So the strategy human resource manager clearly says, or the strategy itself says, employees are human assets in the organization, but it gives human assets means they cannot consider it as a liability. So it definitely gives wrong perception in the organizational environment where uh, employees cannot be considered as human assets. And the last one is resistance. No doubt every new idea or change in the environment or ideas or plans cannot be accepted, and there will be a resistance in an organization. So these are the different barriers to strategic HRM. There are other important barriers as well for the strategic HRM. We can see like fear of failure. They will be thinking, all the employees or any levels, hierarchical level, they'll think that will this idea work out or not. So this fear of failure will be there. Then lack of commitment. Of course, there should be enthusiasm or motivation. They have to be self-motivated and do the work or accomplishment of the strategies or ideas, but there is a lack of commitment or cooperation in an organization. Then resource challenges. Of course, there are various resource challenges to accomplish the task. This can also be considered as other barrier to strategic human resource management. The last one is outside pressures. There is no doubt, like there are so many stakeholders who are, organization is accountable to various stakeholders. There could be some outside pressures, political pressure, like external environment pressures, which lead to organizational, uh, you know, uh, uh, not like organization cannot be successful, organizational failures. So, considering all these parameters, we can, in this particular slide, we can analyze what is the present situation for small business in a pandemic situation. Now we have a corona time, so there is this particular slide explains various small businesses, the percentage of employees or small business people towards the COVID or towards the pandemic period. So you can see 43% has started rethinking the way they do business, such as holding more virtual meetings. So 43% of the small business people think that holding virtual meetings will not work out. So okay, I've started rethinking, do we have to do or not? They are in a dilemma like that. So 32% of the people have found new way of delivering existing services, such as offering product or content online. So earlier physical content or context was there. Now everything, almost 32% think that online would be better, but 22% people have asked their employees to learn new skills and to support changes in the organizational business model. Nobody thought that this will be the present situation in future or like that. So 22% of the employees definitely require new skills to support for the unforeseen changes happening in the world. So with this, I conclude myself with a presentation of various approaches to strategic human resource management, followed by various barriers or hindrances which affect strategic human resource management. Thank you.